Hello boys and girls, so we have managed to reach the last week all about the times that Jesus said I am. So far we have looked at the time that God appeared in the burning bush to Moses saying I am who I am, and we've looked at the times that Jesus said I am the light of the world, I am the bread of life, and last week we were looking at I am the gate and the good shepherd. And this week we're looking at the time that Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. So in the Bible, in a book called John, we can read a story all about Lazarus. Now Lazarus had two sisters, one called Mary and one called Martha. He was also a really good friend of Jesus. And the story tells us all about when Lazarus was really sick, and he was actually so sick that he died from his illness. And I've got a little video that we're just going to watch, and it will tell us more about Lazarus' story and also what happens to him at the end. So I want you to be watching really closely and see what it is that Jesus does for Lazarus.
Lazarus. So part of God's story is about how Jesus brought a man back to life, and it goes like this. Jesus had three really good friends, Mary, Martha, and their brother Lazarus. One day, Lazarus got really sick. He was so sick that he might die. Mary and Martha knew the only one who could heal Lazarus was Jesus, so they sent someone to find him. They found Jesus traveling and telling people about God. Now, you might think that Jesus would rush to heal his friend, but instead of leaving right away, Jesus stayed where he was for 2 more days. See, Jesus knew something no one else knew. Lazarus had died, but Jesus was going to bring him back to life so that they would believe that Jesus really was the Son of God. When Jesus finally got to Lazarus' house, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. Mary and Martha were heartbroken. Martha said, Jesus, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now, God will give you whatever you ask. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha didn't understand at first. What Jesus meant was that he would actually bring Lazarus back to life here on earth. Jesus was saying, because he's the Son of God, he's more powerful than death. After that, Martha's sister Mary ran to Jesus and fell at his feet. Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her crying, he was so sad. In fact, when Jesus came to the tomb where Lazarus was buried, he cried too. His friend, who he loved so much, was dead. Kids, have you ever felt sad because of something that happened to you or someone you cared about? Just like us, Jesus felt pain and sadness because of what happened to his friend. Then, Jesus told some people to roll away the big, heavy stone in front of the tomb. He looked up and prayed, Father, I know that you always hear me. Then he called out in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out! And then Lazarus walked out. This man who had been dead for 4 days was now standing in front of everyone, walking and talking and alive. The people were amazed. You see, Jesus knew all along that he could bring Lazarus back to life. Jesus wanted people to see who he was, the Son of God. He wanted people to see God's greatness, that God could do anything, even bring someone back from the dead. And Jesus was about to do something even more incredible. He himself was about to die for us, be buried in a tomb for 3 days, and then come back to life. And he did it to rescue us from all of our pain, sadness, and wrong choices. And when we believe in him, we get to be a part of God's family forever. And that's the story of Lazarus.
So did you spot what Jesus did for Lazarus? He brought him back to life again. And he was able to do this because what Jesus tells us in the Bible is that he is the resurrection and the life. And resurrection just means when you bring something back to life again, or when something comes back to life again. And that is just what Jesus is able to do when he called Lazarus and told him to come out of the tomb. And he does this because he wants to show everybody that he is the one that's going to make it possible for everybody to live forever with God. Now, not much further on from the story of Lazarus, Jesus dies, and he dies by being put on a cross, and he dies, and then he's put into a tomb as well, and then 3 days later, he then comes back to life again, or he is then resurrected. And this sounds very similar to Lazarus' story, but one thing is very, very different. After Jesus brought Lazarus back to life again, Lazarus then lived on for maybe many years, we don't quite know, but eventually Lazarus then died again. But Jesus didn't. Jesus just went saw most of his friends, and then he went up to heaven. So he never actually died like Lazarus did eventually die again. And what this means is that because Jesus was raised to life and will live forever, if we choose to follow him, then we can live forever with him as well. And that's what he means when he says that I am the resurrection and the life. Well, thanks for listening, boys and girls, and we will be back again next week with the start of our Christmas Sunday Club online. And I'll see you then. Bye!